Hi, it's Geeta, and this is an issue in 3 minutes. You might have heard President Trump talking about the possibility of offering what he's calling a baby bonus of $5,000 per child born to an American citizen. And you may remember J.D. Vance talking about this in some of his speeches, saying he wants more babies. And of course, Elon Musk is always out there talking about trying to increase the birth rate. So why are politicians so worried about the declining birth rate? Well, it comes down to a number of economic concerns. Issue number one is a shrinking workforce. If the younger generations are smaller, then there may not be enough workers to replace the older generation as they retire. There are also concerns about the growth of our gross domestic product. GDP expansion correlates with expansion of the labor force. And if economic output slows down, then that leads to a decline in innovation. Smaller, younger generations also put a strain on Social Security and Medicare, as there are fewer younger people working and paying taxes to fund the Social Security and Medicare benefits that a much larger older generation is receiving. Fewer people also means reduced consumer demand, which is bad for business. It means an increase in labor costs as companies have to pay more to attract people from this smaller labor pool. And it means a much higher debt burden being placed on these young taxpayers. They're getting this national debt passed down to them by a very large older generation, and there are fewer workers in that younger generation to pay back that debt. There are also social concerns. There are weaker social support networks for all people, for the older people who are aging and don't have anybody to take care of them. Smaller families mean fewer people have siblings to provide social support to them, and impact on military readiness. It's hard to say what would get the birth rate rising again. There are some countries that have been able to sustain relatively higher fertility rates, have some traits in common. First of all, they have high quality, affordable health care, strong social safety nets, providing financial security and reducing the economic burden of raising children. They have affordable and accessible childcare, flexible parental leave benefits. And there tends to be an emphasis on gender equality in countries with relatively higher fertility rates. If the birth rate doesn't rise, there are solutions. Immigration is always a solution, although not one that would probably be popular in the United States right now. Also, increasing productivity. The more that we can automate things and we can eliminate the need for humans to do jobs, we can generate more with less human capital, then that mitigates some of the risk of a shrinking population. But if we do want the population to grow, the conversation needs to shift probably from these one-time bonuses to the kinds of social supports and financial stability that would make young families feel secure having those children.